if I had been raised in Miami, maybe I wouldn't be so unaccented, and I don't, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. But in Baltimore, when we moved to Baltimore in the early '60s, there was only one other family that was Cuban in the whole city, because they had a group of, like a Cuban community group that was primarily based in Washington. So in Washington there were a few Cubans, but in Baltimore there was one other family and us, and that was it. That was it. I remember, but it was never, it was really interesting. People would say, were you ever discriminated against or whatever, especially being, up north, in a culture where there's, no, at that time, obviously things are different now, but there were no Latinos, no Hispanics were you discriminated against. And I remember that the only time that ever happened, it only happened once, which was really pretty amazing. You'd think maybe it should happen more often. It only happened one time, and it happened when I was in my teens, early teens. I don't know, 12, 13 years old. And I was with my brother, and we did lots of sports. And so I remember I was out in the field with my brother, and we had just played some football, some touch football or whatever it was. And one of my friends, his older brother, this kid who was like 3 or 4 years older than, I was like, I remember 12, 13, he was 18 maybe. He came up to me and he said, to me and my brother, he said, "You're Cubans, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah, I never thought of it as Cuban, I thought I'm just me, but oh yeah, well, I guess typically we are Cubans. Yeah, Cubans." He says, "Well, you guys are dirty, and you need to leave, you need to get out of here. My dad's told me all about you guys, you need to get out of here." And it was like, I looked at my brother like, "What?" And so fortunately he didn't do anything, he just kind of yelled at us and then he walked off, And that was like really the only episode of my life that in Baltimore where there was like a direct discriminatory, like, you guys are dirty, get out of here. I'm like, what's this guy talking about? Because I felt very assimilated. I was just like another person there. So the Cuba thing was never that big a deal. But that would be the only episode that I thought that was really, flagrant discrimination. I'm sure there was I know there was much more subtle things going on. I'll give you one other example. When I was in middle school, I said I want to take Spanish. And they said, "No, you already speak Spanish, take French. You need to take French. Besides, you're in advanced math, and the advanced math goes with French, not with Spanish." And at that time I didn't think of it. I said, "Okay, I'll take French," which was great. I took 4 or 5 years of French, so I can speak some French. But when I thought back about it, I said, wait a minute, why is the advanced math with French? Why isn't it also with Spanish? Why do you have to be in French to take advanced math? That just didn't make any sense. So there obviously are things like that throughout your life that you see. I've been in interviews where I was the token, which was like, that's when I would cut out right away and say I'm not interested. So there's been things like that that are. I don't need to go on and on about discrimination. It happens all the time everywhere. So, but that would be the only real episode as a kid that I had that I recall was a big deal. Was that one.